All right, so we are on our final steps. Step 6 is to glue our car down, overlapping it a little bit on the edge of our sunset. And then step 7 is to draw, cut out, and glue our black palm trees. So I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make palm trees that kind of with leaves that kind of look like this, and then the stem. And we're going to create 2 different palm trees, and this makes our entire collage really pop. So they're going to be kind of 3D coming off our paper. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to adjust our camera so we can see a little bit better. All right, so you're going to need pencil, scissors, and glue stick, and you need black construction paper because you're going to be cutting from this to make your palm trees. So step 6 is literally just to glue down our car. So simple enough. We've been gluing down our sunset and it's time to glue down our car. I'm going to put plenty of glue on the edges of my car first, making sure that those are secure or have plenty of glue. A little bit in the middle. All right, so when I'm gluing my car down, I want it to overlap a little bit. That means kind of go off the edge and not just be in the middle of my sunset, but kind of be at the bottom, almost like it's driving along a road. And I want it to be maybe just slightly angled, not like that, like it's going down a hill, but just slightly angled going across my sunset. So that means I'm going to cover up some of this sunset, but that is part of making our collage. So I'm going to make it like this. Press it down. You can even flip your paper over and massage it on the back. That makes it really nice and flat. All right, the car is glued down. We're ready for the palm trees. So the palm trees kind of have 2 parts. They have their tree trunk, which is a skinny piece of construction paper, and then they have leaves. And we want the palm leaves or the palm fronds to go up and down and kind of all around, almost like a star or a sunburst. So we want to make a good amount. Because you're going to be making lots of leaves, I'm going to teach you guys how to cut 2 at the same time. All right, but first we want to create the tree trunk. So if I take my black construction paper that I have, and I kind of set it like this, I can kind of tell, all right, how long or how high do I need my my tree trunk to be. So I am going to just draw some lines, 2 parallel lines, and I want my tree trunk to just kind of curve a little bit. I don't want it to be stick straight because palm trees have a natural kind of curve in their tree trunk. And I want it to be wider at the bottom. So here's the edge, or here's the bottom. Kind of see my line. And I want it to taper up as I go, meaning it gets skinnier. It starts wide and it gets narrower at the top. All right, let's set that down and see if that works. All right, that's good. I know you guys can't see my lines as well, but once I cut it out, you'll be able to tell what I drew. All right. Cut to the length that I need carefully right here because this is going to be narrow. You don't want to be cutting your fingers. Be very careful. All right, so this is my tree trunk. Let's see how it looks. All right, and I'm going to be overlapping it a little bit on top of my car, which makes this whole collage even more 3D. So I have my sunset in the background, my car driving through, and my palm trees in the front. All right, that's a good height. If it was too long, I can always just snip it. If it was too short, maybe I just need to cut another longer piece, but this is good. All right, so I'm gonna leave that there. I'm not gonna cut it yet. I have this little strip right here. I'm gonna cut this tree trunk for the smaller palm tree. I want one that's kind of taller than the other and then one that is shorter. So this one is gonna have a shorter trunk. Again, starting wide, tapering to a narrower point. All right, let's cut that out. It's going to be a shorter piece. Okay. All right, I'm gonna make it just a little bit shorter because I wanna leave some distance between the top of this and this one because we have to have room for our leaves. So I'm gonna even set that over a little bit more like that. Okay, awesome. So that is my tree trunks, and now it's time to make our leaves that kind of look like this. So if you look at these, they have some little cuts, and that just makes our whole collage even more 3D. So these are literally popping off the paper, and we're only going to glue almost like the end so that the rest of the leaf can kind of pop off, making our whole collage 3D. Okay, so because you have to make a good amount, meaning like you probably have to make 8 different leaves, I'm going to show you how to make 2 at the same time. So with my black construction paper, I'm going to just fold it over just a little bit. There's really no right or wrong way, just a few inches folded over like this. I want to crease it. All right, so now my paper has this part and this part folded over, meaning 2 layers. Not just one layer, 2 layers, the back and the front. And that will help me make 2 different leaves at the same time. Okay, I'm gonna freely cut most of my leaves because I find that's easier. But the shape that you want to make, I'll draw it on white paper so you can see it. But the shape that you want to make is, let's say this is the edge of my paper, is a leaf shape. So you're just going to do a curved line, and at the tip up here, you're going to draw another curved line. And I'm going to be cutting lots of leaves that are shaped like this. Some can be a little bit shorter for that smaller tree trunk, and some can be longer, some can be skinnier, like that, and then we'll cut the fringe after we cut it out. So I'm going to draw a few right here. Sort of different sizes. And let's start cutting. All right, I'm going to cut on the folded part of my paper. See how it's folded right here? I'm going to cut from this folded side, not from up here. Cutting right along that line that I just made. Cut it off so it's easier to cut, holding it together, coming back down. And now, because I folded over my paper, I not only have 1, I have 2 leaves, just because I cut through 2 pieces of paper at the same time. All right, before I start putting these leaves down, I want to take the next step to make it even more 3D, which is cutting the fringe, almost like hair. So I'm going to hold these 2 together like this, and to the best of my ability, I want to fold it hot dog, not hamburger, not hamburger. I want to fold it like a burrito or like a hot dog bun, right? So matching up my corners. This is a little bit tricky, so just take your time, and it takes practice. I'm going to fold it over, and once I fold it over, I'm going to crease it. Crease it. So now I have something that kind of looks like a taco shell, and it has a crease down the middle like that. So it should look like that from the top. And now these are folded over. Okay, now pay attention to what side you're going to be cutting on. There's a folded side, and there's an open side. We want to cut our fringe on the open side to make it like this. So right here, I cut my fringe on the open side, so when you open it up, it looks like a leaf. So we're going to do that on this. And because we're cutting 2 different pieces of paper, we're going to get our 2 different leaves all ready to go. All right, I have my scissors, I have my hand creasing and holding my paper. This is where you have to be very careful that you're not cutting your fingers. You're being very, very careful to move your fingers out of the way as you cut the fringe. Okay? I'm cutting along the open side right here. And I'm cutting at an angle like this. I'm not kind of going in from the side like that. I'm cutting at an angle as I go down. So let's see how it turned out. All right, let's unfold. Take our 2 leaves out like this. And voila, I have 2 leaves. And you can kind of see up close that they have the fringe. On this one, I got really complicated and I cut some space in between the fringe like this. So if you're watching this and you want to have a little bit more space, you can just cut like a slit. I'll try to get that out so you can see it. Let's see. So there's kind of a difference between just cutting and then cutting like a slit like that. So if you want to do the slits, you can, but you don't have to. It gets a little bit tricky if you start getting really complicated with it and it takes forever. All right. So that's if you want to cut the slits. That way you can kind of see the slits a little bit better. And that's what it looks like. Okay, I got 2 leaves made and I have a lot more to go. So I'm going to keep cutting. Cutting along the folded side of my black paper. I'm going to cut the second leaf shape out. And I want to kind of bring it to a point again. If they're still attached at the bottom like that, just literally peel them apart. Fold them in half, hot dog style. Really careful. Cut on the open side. Remember to cut it at an angle, not straight in like a comb. You want to cut it at an angle on the open side. Open it up. Voila, I have 2 leaves ready to go. So now I have 4. All right, those are going to go like there. Keep going. And the reason I'm using black paper is because I want my palm trees to look like they are silhouetted. All the sunshine from the sunset is shining behind them, so you wouldn't see the color of the palm tree if you're facing this way. So as something, if it is silhouetted, that means that it is just solid black, meaning there's probably sunshine shining behind it, so you only see black. So the word silhouette describes something that's solid black because there is some light behind it, and lots of artists use silhouetted figures, plants, animals. You can use it for anything. And we're making our palm trees this way. All right, so I'd have some going up. I'd want to make sure I have some kind of angling down like that to make it almost like a starburst. And I'm going to keep going. All right, I think that would probably be enough for the big tree. So now I'm going to start making some smaller leaves. So instead of this size, I might make them more like this size. Okay? You don't have to draw the leaves before you cut. Just do it if it's helpful for you. Okay, fold again. Again, the folding just means that you're not going to let the leaves slip out from each other, so just be careful. Never fold on the folded side, or never cut on the folded side. Cut on the open side of the leaf when you're making your fringe. Always being careful of your fingers. I have my 2 small leaves from my smaller palm tree. Peel them apart. Yay! All right, let's make some even smaller ones. Again, I'm always turning my paper so it's easier to cut. When you are making the leaves, if folding it and making the fringe is like getting way too complicated and it's just not working, you can always just kind of fold the paper or fold the leaves like this and just leave them kind of solid. Like that will work just as well, even without the fringe. I challenge you to make the fringe, but if all you can do is just fold them, as long as they're kind of 3D once we glue them down, that's good enough for me. All right. I am going to cut these fringe because that's what I want. All right. Let's make one more cut. And y'all, the palm trees is really just the icing on top, the cherry on top for our whole collage that we've been working so hard on. Think about it. You guys practiced learning how to draw cars last week just to prepare for this week's artwork. So you really want to take your time when you are making this collage this week because you've worked so hard on preparing for it. All right, these are all loose and they could just scatter. So it's time to start gluing them down. I'm going to glue the big one down first, just maybe setting my other leaves off to the side, being careful. And I'm going to start gluing the tree trunk first, because that's where all the leaves will come out from. Flipping it over, I'm going to glue the back. And now we're going to be gluing straight on top of everything, like my car and my sunset. So I'm going to overlap on the tire a little bit, and I want to leave some space over here for my smaller palm tree. So I don't want to get too close to the edge, and I also don't want to put the trunk only on the black paper because then you wouldn't be able to see it. So it's going to be contrasted on the sunset. Press it down. Use the cap if you have to press it down. Okay. When you're gluing down the leaves, you do not want to glue down the entire leaf. You actually only want to glue down this corner part. And the reason why is we want it to kind of stick off of the paper. If I glue this all down, then this won't have its 3D effect again. We want to leave some of that crease in the leaf too, so that it's kind of popping off our paper. I would do the bigger ones first. Make sure you have enough glue just on the corner, literally just on the corner. You can kind of see it, not the entire leaf. And I want to put the next one kind of angled in like that. Not on top of it, not really like that, just angled here. Press it down. One at a time. So really, we're making a paper sculpture. And it's really as simple as folding paper and cutting fringe. And just by folding that paper, the paper wants to stick off or stick up. Okay, like that. Glue this one down. I think there's two more. Again, I have some going up, out, and now I want them to come down because that's kind of how palm tree fronds or palm tree leaves grow in the real world. And they're all kind of coming from the center of the palm tree. All right, that looks good. Okay, all right, we're ready for the smaller one. Let's keep going. Make sure I'm gluing it so it's angling in. You don't really want them angling that way. I'm gonna angle it in. Okay. All right, this one I want to have enough space up here for my palm tree. So I'm gonna angle it or put it right here, a little bit lower. All right, let's start gluing those leaves. Again, only gluing the bottom of the leaf, not the entire leaf. You can always kind of re-crease it to making sure that it will pop off your paper. Refold it. Again, if you're doing this and you try to make the fringe and you're not successful, you can always just not cut the fringe, but only just fold your paper like that. So it's okay if you're kind of overlapping onto another trunk. That makes it look even more 3D. Overlapping makes your artwork look 3D, and we like that. That's this entire collage. The sunset's in the background, the car's on top, and now the palm trees are on top, on the very top, all overlapping. Make some facing down. All right, this is our last leaf. All right, let's check. Some of these are laying too flat, so I'm going to fold them a little bit so they stick up. Mess with the fringe so it kind of separates a little bit. If anything wants to pop off, always just pick it up, put some more glue underneath it. And this is looking really good. If you look at it from the side, you can see how much is actually popping off the paper. And that's what we want. All right, y'all, I absolutely love this. It's looking really good. And now you are finally at the final step, which is step 8. You are going to take a clear photo of this. I would say take this outside on a nice kind of overcast or sunny day. Take a clear photo, have your mom or your dad help you if you need help, or all you really need is a phone with a camera on it. And you're going to email that to me, and my email is in our lesson. It's le@myleadacademy.com. All right, you guys, so this is the conclusion of this week's collage, this week's lesson, our retro car collage. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me if you need help with anything. I'm so happy to help, and I really challenge you guys to persevere through this, through all the steps, and make your collage look amazing. Oh yeah, last but not least, always sign your artwork with your name and then write the date. I'm gonna write October 2020, so you will always remember when you made this. All right, bye guys.